You are now listening to the fastest show on iSports Radio. My name is Darryl Kinsey Jr. Welcoming you to taking a lap of the extra mile for today, February the 1st, 2024. And man, it's been a boring day in the Formula One news sphere. Absolutely nothing at all has happened the last couple of days. I'm absolutely a terrible liar. And to help me to talk about all of this, my special co-host for the evening, the big boss here at iSports Radio, Mr. Larry B. Larry?
Good evening, Darryl, and good evening to all of you Extra Mile listeners out there. I am so excited to be here today for my zillionth time and talk racing with you, Darryl. This is going to be another fun one, and man, I'm already ready and started. My engine's ready to go, man, and let's hit that green flag, brother.
All right, well, let's get going. If you are listening live, make sure to get your comments in. We'll read them in the chat as they go on. Of course, we are going to talk about the big news of the weekend. Well, there are two big news stories this week out of Formula One. First, not so good news with Andretti, and then the absolutely earth-shattering news that just broke earlier today regarding Lewis Hamilton. But before we get to all that, of course, we've got to review the greatest endurance race in the United States. Of course, I'm talking about the Rolex 24, which was won by Porsche this past weekend. The team of Felipe Nasser, Matt Campbell, Joseph Newgarden, and Dane Cameron picking up the win for Porsche Penske in the number 7. Tom Blomqvist, Pippo Durrani, and Jack Aiken in the Wheeling Cadillac finished second. And third, the Wayne Taylor Racing with Andretti Autosport with Luis Delatraz, Colton Herta, Jenson Button, and Jordan Taylor sharing the driving duties in that car. Larry, this race always restarts the car portion of the American motorsports season, and it was another fun classic out there in Daytona. And the big thing for me was that the change in the weather actually had an effect on how this race went, because during the heat of the day, the Cadillac was faster, but when it got cool into that nighttime session, the Porsche and the Acura, that's when those two cars started coming alive.
Without a doubt, Darryl. It's crazy because, I mean, we started out, right? I mean, that Cadillac was on fire. I mean, Darryl, I thought they were going to run, maybe not wire to wire, but they were definitely somebody that I was going to say, they're probably going to win this thing. I mean, they looked incredible early on, but you're absolutely right. When that nightfall hit, man, it seemed as if there was a wrench in the gears. You can't always blame the driver, the engineers. It looked like a total team effort, and then you had to realize, wait a minute, the temperature. So at first I don't want to say I was pointing fingers, Darryl, but at first I was like, okay, they fell off. What happened? But absolutely that temperature played a huge role in it, and something that I seriously did not see coming. I did not think it was going to play that much of a role.
Yeah, and and for those of you that are listening for the first time, might not understand this. Temperature, wind speed, wind direction can have a huge effect on a race car, whether it be aerodynamics, cooling to the engine and the brakes, horsepower, all of that is affected by the weather. And when we had those hot, more humid temperatures, it was, I want to say unseasonably warm, but it's Florida. So it's kind of different when it comes to their heat. But when they had those warmer temperatures, that was great for the Cadillac. They were able to make a lot of power there. But when the temperature came down, cooled off the track, that's when those Penske Porsches, the Acuras, those cars started coming back to the forefront because it's a lot cooler, a lot easier on the tires, a lot easier on the brakes, and the tires. That has a lot of effect when it comes to heat. When it's cooler, they have a little bit more grip, but there comes a fall-off point to where those tires don't have a lot of grip, and they start doing this thing called graining, where it kind of just rubs the rubber off the tire, and they're not getting a good grip. So that could have been a situation that could have affected the Cadillac. As far as tire wear, we know the Porsche was a lot faster, and the Acura, of course, at night, but it was a lot of fun those final hours seeing the Porsche and the Cadillac go at it. And unfortunately, Larry, there was a mix-up in race control. I don't know if you saw this at the end, but they accidentally threw the checkered flag 2 minutes early.
Okay. Darryl, I promise you, sir, I will not go off on a 5-minute rant like how I originally thought I would. But Darryl, it's funny, okay? So when we look, I'm getting Cecilia more and more into this. Kind of cool. Last year, she watched a little bit of it, with me, and this year, it's we watched the beginning of it, and then she's okay. I've had enough. But this year, right, we were watching right after, because we had it on, of course. I mean, forgive us, God, but we had it on. I had it on, of course. I mean, church was on too, live and everything. But Darryl, right when that flag hit, well, right when 24 hours hit, and I was like, okay, here it is. This is it. This is it. Like, oh, here we go. Daryl, it literally, it was it. That was it. Okay. So the 24 hours hits and boom. Okay. You see these two cars, these incredibly fast cars out there in the front. It's like, okay, we had a nice battle. I get it. Okay. I believe it was the LMP2. Oh, no. The GTD Pro, I think, was fully decided. I think that was the only one that was.
GTD Pro was decided. There was a huge gap in GTD. LMP2 was pretty much over. The only real race at that point was GTP, but even at that point, the Porsche was pulling away. Like, it was over a second as we were starting what was supposed to be the white flag. So we got lucky that we didn't have any battles get changed by that. But it just feels like officiating in all sports, especially now that we have this sports betting. It's under the microscope. And for that to happen, you just go, oh no, not again.
It was frustrating, Darryl. It was, because look, you're right. The seven. Look, man, the 7 had a head full of steam. It was a fast car, okay? And I'm not going to say the 31 would have caught them. I'm not going to say that, Darryl. But damn it, can you give them a chance? It's one more lap, 24 hours just hit. They were what, 3 seconds from the stripe, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, that's it." It's like, who was sitting in that dang box or wherever race control is? Okay, that was like, "Oh, call it." I mean, who did that? Like, come on, man, give these guys the real white flag. Let them duke it out for one more lap. That's what you went there for, Darryl. I'll tell you right now. If I spent all that money to do the entire Rolex 24, and I freaking even stayed up and coffeed and Monster Energy drinked and whatever else myself to even stay up all that long, and I got that ending, Darryl, forgive me for this is mild, not bad language, but Darryl, I would be pissed the freak off. Okay, if I spent all that money and got that ending, I'm sorry. I just
well, the usual protocol for this race, as far as it works in IMSA, is it does not cut off at 24 hours. They will run 2 extra laps, which is what they were setting up for. As you saw in the NBC graphic, they had 2 laps to go. They usually get the white flag at 24 hours. It's right. Europe, where at zeros they'll throw the checkered flag, but instead of them saying, display the white, they heard display the white instead of 2 laps to go is what happened. So they accidentally threw the flags a little bit early. Now, under IMSA rule, that ends the race, no matter what. Thankfully, they weren't duking it out for the win, because that would have been a disaster if that had happened. But they're gonna have to watch the language, whatever happened to cause that next time out.
You're so right, Darryl, and yeah, you're right. Like I said, I mean, it really wasn't decisive. Oh yeah, trust me. I mean, I'd be livid if they were actually in the middle of a nose to nose type race, But you're right. Like I said, I mean, my heart of hearts says that the 7 would have won no matter what. But man, just to see that 31 get one more chance, you never know, and now we won't know. So I don't know. I mean, you got to credit them. They had a fast car. I'll tell you, that 7, man. They really, really, really had themselves quite the advantage, I think, getting closer and closer to the ending. They ran well, and you have four amazing drivers. Porsche, they built themselves a amazing race car this year. I mean, it was awesome. It was awesome seeing Cadillac versus Porsche at the end. I mean, we always love seeing that battle in the Rolex, but yeah, man. In conclusion, it just really kind of got on my nerves. We didn't get at least that one lap of those guys going at it.
Yeah, I don't think again. I don't think Bloomquist is catching him. Like he was
No.
gone at that point. But you want to see what happens. But we've got 11 more races to go. And look, if you loved that race, come back in a couple of weeks or a couple of months when we get to March. I know it's going to be hard because that's basketball and March Madness, but we've got the 12 hours of Sebring coming up, so you basically want to watch that as well. If you've loved the racing you saw during the Rolex 24. Your other class winners, Era Motorsports, the Eureka LMP2, the number 18, picks up the win in LMP2 with Christian Rasmussen, Dwight Merriman, Ryan Dalzell, and Connor Zilic. The 17-year-old Trackhouse development driver gets his first ever Rolex. That has got to be the coolest kid in school right now, coming in with a genuine Rolex after winning that race.
So special. What a moment. And just what a way, right? What a way to really kick off that career. I mean, it's already started. You mentioned it. I'm just saying, youngster here, and what a way, right, Darryl? I mean, you're right. Got to be the coolest kid in school wearing this extremely expensive watch. And guess what, Darryl? He paid not a cent. He earned it and he won it. It's so sweet, and I'm so happy for that guy.
I mean, I remember what I was doing at 17. It wasn't racing in the Rolex 24. I can tell you that much. So congratulations to that kid. And that was a good fight back for Era Motorsports. They actually ended up in a little scuffle about an hour in where they ended up spitting out at the now Le Mans chicane. But they did come back, end up picking up the win in Daytona. GTD Pro Alessandro Pierguidi, James Collado, Daniel Serra, and David Rigon in the Risi Competizione. Ferrari pick up the win in GTD Pro, and GTD goes to Mercedes with Daniel Morad, Russell Ward, Philip Ellis, and Indy Donche in the number 57 Windward Racing Mercedes. So those were your four class winners in Daytona, and now the rest and relaxation begins. But you don't want to rest on your laurels too much because you get back in March. You go to Sebring. You got to respect the bumps, and that track will beat the hell out of you if you let it.
Oh yeah, Will, and I'm looking forward to that. We every year IMSA is just so special, and it's funny because whenever I try to explain it, like I'm pretty sure you saw me, Darryl. Like it's kind of funny, man. Even in the iSports Radio chat room, I'm really happy, Darryl. I'm really happy, man. We got Gen B into watching it this year. She watched almost the whole race. We got
Nice. I saw that in the chat too.
Right? Arthur Parsons watched some of the race. We had Ricky K. Arthur, of course, the new, the returns doing the bio bulletin here on iSports Radio. Ricky K, the brand new host of our brand new New York show. I mean, a lot of them tuned in, and I was like trying to explain it like in a nutshell to them, all these different classes and everything. But IMSA is truly special, and it makes me really happy to know that it can pull in anybody. You got all these different drivers from all these different types of series, and it's special. So Sebring's the next one. It's a truly special race. I've always enjoyed watching this, and you know what? Hey, Rolex was amazing. I know Sebring is going to be just as awesome as it always is.
Yeah, Sebring is going to be a lot of fun. We'll also have the debuting Lamborghinis in the GTP category at that race as well. We're going to pivot to NASCAR a little bit. Before we go to break, we have the Clash at the Coliseum. Supposed to be this weekend, but Larry, looking at the weather and the National Weather Service bulletin that just came out, it's looking pretty scary out there for you guys.
Yeah, Darryl, we got a lot of rain today. It's been a rainy day. And yeah, man, we unfortunately, I just don't know if this race is going to happen. It looks pretty nasty out there. And yeah, the storm is going to hit us pretty hard. And it sucks because I love the Clash, but unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to take part this year.
Yeah, they're looking at 3 to 6 inches of rain, 6 to 12 inches in the mountains and foothills out there in California. The thing with Los Angeles is that they're in a valley. So the problem is a lot of that rain is going to come flowing downwards, and that's going to create nasty flooding, which Larry B can tell me more about because I've seen it only on TV, and it just looks god awful. So I pray for you guys out there. There's also some snow at higher elevations they're expecting. So it's going to be a nasty weekend. And unfortunately, completely during the days we're supposed to race and continue from Sunday to Wednesday night. And the thing is, we got the Daytona 500 next week, and these teams need to be in Florida. So we'll see what NASCAR tries to do. It's a different situation because this isn't a permanent racetrack. It's literally in the LA Coliseum, and they got to give it back. I don't know how the contract works as far as the rain delays with this, but we're crossing our fingers we get something in. And they were really going to do it up this year. We got the NASCAR Mexico Series coming across to have a race. And it doesn't look like we're going to get a lot of that this weekend.
It's frustrating, Darryl. I wanted all of that, man. I wanted all of it. I wanted every bit of it. But, man, Mother Nature just has her way of destroying cool stuff.
Yeah. That is NASCAR and the weather in a nutshell, unfortunately. So we know NASCAR is back when we are talking about the weather, basically. But, hey, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, well, there's a whole lot of news in Formula One, wasn't there? We'll talk about that on the other side of this break. But before we do that, Mr. Larry B., happy birthday, sir.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Man, 35 today. Feels like this yesterday I was 21, and I don't know what happened, Darryl. I guess 35 happened. I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know what happened all those other years. But
yeah.
Hey, and I got to hand it back to you, good sir. Just 2 weeks ago, of course. Happy birthday, Darryl.
Yes, turned the big 34, so I'm 1 year behind you on that one. Next year's going to be the big 35 for me. Oof. But, it's good to be back as well. I know I haven't been here the last couple of weeks. 18th, of course, was my birthday, and then the next week, food poisoning is not fun. That's all I'll say about that. That Thursday, when I was going to try to get on, I came home at 1 o'clock, went to sleep, got back up, ate a little dinner at like 4, went right back to sleep, did not get up till 5 the next day. So
not fun.
I needed that rest. But hey, we'll be right back. We'll get into some Formula One on the other side of this break here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, sports fans? You're listening to IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your favorite West Coast Wisconsinite, Bernie Bango, and if you're a cheesehead, come listen to my show, Big Cheese Sports, where we road trip around America's Dairyland, previewing, reviewing, predicting, debating, and digging into all that is Wisconsin sports at the college and pro levels. Join me on IE Sports Radio, Sundays at 1 p.m. Central Standard. Bernie out.
And we're back after that quick break as Mr. Larry B. It is his birthday, so we don't want to keep him here too long. We're going to get into the Formula One news, and before we get out of here, we got about 10 more minutes with Larry, so we'll start with the big fish of the day. This news I thought was a joke. I thought someone was playing a game on social media. And then I saw that motorsport.com reported this, that we have Lewis Hamilton inking a multi-year deal to go to Ferrari in 2025.
Yeah! Sorry.
It's fine. Larry's a big Ferrari fan, as you can see. I guess I will be a big Ferrari fan.
Yeah,
starting next year. But
no, I'm sorry. I can't stop teasing over here, man. I'm teasing.
I mean, it's just so. I was at work, taking a little break at work when I saw it on my phone. I'm like, yeah, right. That's not happening. And then I start seeing like more and more like actual outlets that report this, I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh wait, this is actually happening. And then a couple hours later, we get the official news that Lewis is leaving Mercedes. The minute I saw the news break and get confirmed, I said out loud, this is Formula One's Brady to Tampa moment. Like, this is the moment where the megastar, greatest of all time, leaves the team he has so much success with to try to continue that success somewhere else. We never thought it was going to happen, but here we are. Next year, Lewis Hamilton in red with the Tifosi. It's going to be something to watch.
Darryl, okay, let me. So I love it. It was a "where were you" moment. Like, where were you when it happened? And I love how you thought it was a joke, because Darryl, I seriously thought it was a joke too. I mean, you said it's funny because you brought up game. Well, yeah, it was seriously like this is something that can only happen playing Formula One, the video game. Okay, like that's like taking LeBron James and putting him on the Orlando Magic or something. I mean, seriously, like it's something that you didn't really think would ever happen, and it did. And then you checked it and the sources are credible, and you're like, oh my gosh. And look, I will never in a million years diss the Silver Arrows in Mercedes, and they got a great thing there. They're a rival though, Darryl. As a Ferrari fan my whole life, I'm very, very proud Ferrari, and I'm very happy that this team has the history that it has and everything, but Darryl, the Silver Arrows were kicking the crap out of us for years, man. I mean, and it was Lewis Hamilton doing all the work. Of course, we had Nico a few years before, and doing that and what he did, and Lewis Hamilton just went off and basically just gave him the trophy before the season starts, because you knew he was going to win almost every race. And I never sat here and said, oh, I hate Lewis Hamilton or I hate Mercedes. Never. I just respected them and went, we lost another one. We lost another one. We lost another one. But at the same exact time, I would always say, man, Lewis Hamilton, like, I love that guy. Like, I don't care if he's not in our colors. The guy is a legend. He's an amazing driver, and he's going to be one of the greatest of all time, whether somebody wants to admit it or not. And I don't really care if he's not wearing our colors or not. I get to see amazing racing. And at the end of the day, I love amazing racing. So this guy just showing how dominant he is. Yeah, it was at the expense of Ferrari and all the other teams, but he's incredible. So Darryl, when the news broke that he's coming to Mercedes, I can seriously relate this to Kobe and LeBron. I'm a diehard Laker fan. I've always been. And, when LeBron came in and he started doing his LeBron thing and, breaking records and being one of the most dominant players out there, yeah, you better believe I held on tight to my Kobe. I was always, nope, Kobe all day. All-Star game, Kobe, everything Kobe. What's up, man? Nope, I respect LeBron. I think he's an amazing athlete, but he's not better than Kobe. Kobe's my guy. It was always about Kobe. Well, after LeBron James became a Laker, it's funny because I never ever said that I can't stand LeBron James. I never said that I couldn't stand the Cavs or the Heat. I never said that. I'm not somebody to sit there and hate on someone for greatness. That's disgusting. But I was somebody who was like, oh my gosh, stop beating us, just like Lewis Hamilton in Mercedes. And honestly, Darryl, when LeBron put on that purple and gold, oh man, I was so happy, because now the guy that's been a thorn in our side has joined the team and he made us better. We won a title with him. I get it. Right now, things are whatever it is with the Lakers. I understand that. But I'm just saying I can relate that so much to that, because now the man who was responsible for terrorizing Ferrari for all these years is coming to Ferrari. And honestly, Darryl, all I got to say here is look, Ferrari, I love you. You're amazing. But you better give this man one damn good car. You better put everything you've ever put into any car into that car for this guy, because Lewis is gonna do the work. He's gonna drive. He's gonna win, and he's gonna be great. If he doesn't win, it's because the car isn't good enough, and I'm sorry. That's all there is to it. So the car better be damn good, because we already know what Lewis is gonna bring. So Ferrari better bring it too. Darryl, I'm so excited.
Oh, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I mean, this is the best way I can compare this for the football fans and all the take that star player that has just been kicking your team's butt for years and now say he's coming to your team. Like Mahomes going to the Raiders. Like, there's so many, like Jordan going to those Knicks teams back in the day. Like, there's so many comparisons you can do with this. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Lewis is going to be 40 next year. But he's still got a lot in the tank. You've got Charles Leclerc. Go ahead.
Sorry, Darryl. I was just saying 40 going on 25, man. I'm sorry. That guy's still got a lot of years. He's amazing.
That guy doesn't age, and I need his secret. I swear, because I did not know he was getting close to 40, but he's still got a lot in the tank. And if that Ferrari is up to snuff in 2025 when he gets into it, right on the cusp of the regulations change in 2026, it's going to be absolutely incredible. You're going to see some of those vintage Mercedes moments just in Ferrari red next year. And we might see, actually we're probably at that point going to see a renewal of the the Verstappen versus Hamilton battle that we were robbed of a proper finish in 2021. Hopefully, if they're battling again, we can get the finish that we deserve this time.
Please, yes, because Darryl, that right there, that could remind me of like Pacquiao and in Mayweather. You know, we didn't get that fight until a million years later because promoters. We didn't get Anthony Joshua and Wilder for so long, and who knows if we're going to get it now. So you're absolutely right. I hate being robbed of a really good battle out there. And yeah, now I think we're going to get it full on in Formula One because Hamilton's ready. And I just let's Forza Ferrari, man. Let's go. I'm so excited.
Well, we got about a minute before we take another break. I know you got to get ready to get out of here. So, but before you leave, Larry, there's a lot of good things going on with the station right now as we start heading towards this magical decade celebration. How are things been, and what are some of the things folks should be looking forward to this year at IE Sports Radio?
Darryl, once again, I just want to say thank you so much for having me tonight, man. I know, like I said, I know it's the birthday, but brother, this is the station. This is what we have built. Not just me. We have built this, and you better believe I got time for the station, even if it is on a day where I'm blowing out the candles, man. So thank you for having me, man. I was really excited for that. But yeah, listeners out there, this is a very special year. 2024 is a special year. It's really cool because, I mean, as a lot of you seen on my social media at the LB53 or LB_LB53, I just, I put up a image at the start of the new year with Charles Woodson, legendary Raider and Packer, of course. Jeff Gordon, of course, legendary NASCAR driver. And, of course, the Black Mamba, legendary basketball player, one of the greatest athletes to ever live. May he rest in everlasting peace. They all share one thing in common. They wore number 24. Jeff Gordon doing amazing things in his career as, that Rainbow Warrior out there. Kobe Bryant doing everything he's ever done on that court, just leaving us stunned with his play. And Charles Woodson, I mean, the only defensive player to ever win the Heisman. Yeah, Darryl, 24 is a special number, and it's going to be a special number for us too, because it's a decade on May 15th, and I just can't wait. As you can see, I'm jumping the day up early a little bit. I mean, I'm so excited for it, and I'm ready to roll, man. We have so many great things coming up, starting as early as the end of this month, or getting close to the end of this month. Just preparing for this entire thing. We're going to have blowout shows, all kinds of cool themes, a lot of merchandise you guys can win. The website is bumping. We're trying to fill, for the first time, Darryl, in IE Sports Radio history, we're trying to fill every single show that we want. That means every major sports city with a host, trying to get all of the rest of our shows filled. I mean, we are doing so many things, and it's just going to be awesome. So please come along for the ride, everybody. And for everybody who's been a listener for so many years, we just appreciate you. We thank you so much for being a part of this. iSportsRadio.com. Go check it out. We appreciate you all. And trust me, we will not let you down with this 10-year anniversary. And first time it's going to be announced, Darryl, right here on the Extra Mile on any show, okay, on iSports Radio. I have dug in the archives, man, and it's nowhere but in my external hard drive. I had to dig for it, and I found it on May 15th this year. I will be uploading to Spreaker, of course. I will be uploading the very first episode of The Defining Moment before it was even called The Defining Moment. Me, nervous as can be, talking to two friends of mine, and just having my own little show, no theme music. I don't even know the commercials. I don't even know what I did, but I'm going to be uploading that, Darryl, for everybody to hear my very first time on air and the first show that we ever had on iSports Radio back when we were on Mixler.com. And I just want to say real quick, Darryl, I mean, dude, you've been a part of this of these 10 years. It's been 7, and it's just been 7 magical years. You've done so many great things, achieving a master's, being a master journalist, working at all these amazing outlets for news. And I just want to say, man, first and foremost, thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for giving the time to this, even with your busy schedule and your busy job. And at the end of the day, brother, just thank you so much for just being what iSports Radio is. And that, of course, is a true diehard delivering diehard news for other true diehards. Thank you, Darryl, for that. And thank you to all the iSports Radio listeners.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a lot of fun these last 7 years. So, Larry, it's your birthday. I'm going to let you get out of here. You go enjoy yourself. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have to get into the other news that broke today regarding Formula One, and it's not going to be fun. We'll talk about this on the other side of the break here on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Well, what is up, Carolina Nation? This is John Felipe of the Carolina Cast, of course, the podcast of, by, and for the Carolinas, right here on IE Sports, your direct feed for all that is sports. And I'm reminding you to tune in Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern for the latest in Carolina sports, whether it's the Panthers that keep on pounding, the fly natures of the Hornets, the storming Hurricanes, the battle of the Blues with Duke and UNC, the fight of the Clemson Tigers, or the amazing atmosphere of any Carolina college. I'm talking App State, I'm talking ECU. I've got you covered. Once again, tune in for the Carolina Cast with me, John Felipe, Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernan, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy Dentarius Law.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That gives you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
And we're back here on the Extra Mile on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Darryl here with you to take you through the next segment where we're going to unfortunately talk about the other big news of the day, which unfortunately was also not unexpected, which was that Andretti's effort to get on the grid for 2025 or 2026 has been dashed by the Formula One rights holders, which with this new two-stage process, it was always going to be a uphill battle. But if you've read any of the statements that came out this week, or that came out today, FOM saying that they didn't think that the Andretti name added much to the championship. Never mind that Mario Andretti won a frickin' championship over there, and that the Andretti name has 6 Indy 500 victories to its name as a drivers and team owners, a 24 Hours of Le Mans class win, a class win at Daytona and Sebring, and so many more race teams in Extreme E, Formula E, IMSA, IndyCar, Rallycross back in the day. This was a no-brainer for the FIA, but FOM just decides no, and they just make up the worst reasons to bring them in, to not bring them in, which was basically self-serving and grandizing, to be honest. And it tells us what we already knew, which was Formula One just wants to be a closed system where they only have 10 seats at the table and everybody else can stay out, which violates their own Concord agreement, by the way, which calls for 13 teams instead of 10. Or if you want to get on the grid, they basically want to bankrupt you so you can't have an opportunity to get better. And then you run out of money and they laugh and say, see, only these 10 can actually build a team. Discounting the fact that you put the team that's there $600 million in the hole before they got started, which is what they want to do with the next Concord agreement. But this is about to set up a fight between them and the FIA, who released a statement that they are looking into next steps on how to handle this situation. But what you have here at this point is, how does one start a new Formula One team? Because Andretti did everything right. Formula One is trying to build up more American interest. You have a true blue American team, and you say no. What does that mean for the other entries? They don't have a hope in heck of ever getting onto the grid. And so what does that mean for actually growing the sport at a time where it is is its hottest ever. And you can hoard the money like a dragon and be greedy and stingy and try to limit who can get to your little birthday party. But that money train is going to end. And that free ride is going to end. And what are you going to do when that money comes to an end and you need more eyes on your sport? Because the way it's going right now, there's not going to be anyone who's going to want to bother with you. And I wouldn't blame them. Because it seems like you don't want to treat the new people like partners. You would rather exploit them for all the money they have. Like you're a modern day bank robber. I don't know what's next for Andretti. I don't know if this gets litigious because that could last years, and you're definitely not going to get on the grid after that, after you've burnt those bridges. But somebody has got to take Formula One to the woodshed for this. Because as far as I'm concerned, Formula One is dealing with the same thing that baseball is. It's a beautiful game, absolutely ruined by the people running it. It is. You can see we're going to have another street race at Madrid. I get it. The Catalonia track wasn't that great, but another freaking street course? Really? We're going to be a street course series by the end of this, and the passing, it's not there in Formula One. It's not going to get better on a bunch of concrete canyons that don't have any room for us to get too wide. But Liberty Media isn't doing anything to help the sport. Liberty Media is trying to help their sale price for when they get ready to dump off Formula One to somebody else the minute it stops making money. And then it'll be up to the next guy to try to fix the damage that they've caused. And to be honest, I hope the damage, if the damage is severe enough and it doesn't get fixed, good. It's on the teams. They did this to themselves. They have way too much power, and it needs to be taken away from them. And if it needs to be taken away from them by the sport cratering, fine. Let's do that then. Because Formula One has been too elitist and too self-serving for way too long. They act like they're the be-all, end-all of motorsports. They're not. WEC races clear Formula One. IndyCar races clear Formula One. Heck, the Mazda MX-5 Cup clears Formula One in terms of racing. You know, that's great. You have the big names and you can go around and go to all these races around the world. It doesn't matter if the racing's terrible. And this isn't just me throwing stones at Formula One. If you've listened to the show for the last 7 years, you know we've had a problem with how Formula One has conducted itself. And it's only getting worse. And at this point, the only thing keeping me invested is I want to see what happens with this Lewis Hamilton thing. But once this Lewis Hamilton thing has run its course, I'm out. I just don't want to have anything else to do with it. That's the truth. You know, it's just, it really stinks. And I don't know what we can do about it, to be honest. Hopefully things will get better, but I doubt it. And on that depressing note, we're going to get ready to get out of here as we get ready for the 2024 racing season this weekend. What Well, we're supposed to have the NASCAR Clash, the unofficial launch of the NASCAR season, but as we said, there is some serious weather coming in to the Southern California area, so we'll see how they get this race going. We will be racing at 8 p.m. on Sunday. 8 p.m. on the East is when the feature rolls off. They'll have racing all day on Fox and FS1 for the event. Looking at the weekend schedule for the Busch Clash, we will have practice for the Cup Series starting at 6 on Saturday. All this will be on FS1. We'll have practice at 6, followed by the 4 heat races from 8:30 to 9:15. The next day, Sunday, February 4th, the King Taco La Battaglia en El Coliseo. The NASCAR Mexico Series race will go off at 4:30 on FS1. The last chance qualifier for the Clash is scheduled to go at 6:30 with the Clash to run at 8, all of that weather permitting. So that'll do it for this edition of the Extra Mile. Remember, I can be found at DK Jr. 12 if you want to talk to me on Twitter. Make sure you follow our pages on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok for the show and the station. And check out www.iesportsradio.com, where you can read up on our show bios, listen to any show you may have missed, and get in the chat rooms, and get to the forums and let your fandom show. And if you missed any episode of any iSports Radio show, you can hear it wherever you get your podcasts, as well as the YouTube repository, which has a backup of every episode we've ever done. So that'll do it for this edition of the Extra Mile. I am Darryl. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you at the next green flag. Good night, everybody.